Good morning, everybody. Happy Thankful Thursday. We got a little chopped going on in the background. We're going to start off with some house music as a few more people get on this live stream. I'm super stoked today. I am super excited, and I am grateful that I am alive. Even when it's not so great, I'm still grateful that I'm alive because we're human beings and we have feelings, and that's the blessing of it all. So thank you for joining us on Facebook, of course, all my LinkedIn peeps, and on YouTube. You know, I just hit 100 subscribers this week on my YouTube channel. I'm up to 109, so I'm super excited about that. Feeling good, just like the shirt says, right? I got this shirt from my sister-in-law, Jenny, and it's super comfortable. You notice how skulls are always smiling? You know what that means? It means, think about it, even if you're doing this, you're actually smiling. Because if you took the skin off, you would have this look on your face, like you're smiling, right? So think about it. We're already smiling. Let's keep it going. Good morning, Elena. Elena, even though today is my workout, it's my rest day. I like to call it active resting, so active recovery. So I did do my stretches this morning. You'd be proud of me. Thanks for showing up. Joshy, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for showing up. And yeah, what an awesome shirt, right? I am all about it. Ritesh. I am keeping it super simple, stupid simple, my friend. Yes, I tend to complicate things in my life. And I know that we all have that challenge at times, right? We're always complicating things when really it's already been written and it's already been done. And it's just there for us to go out and create it, right? And on that note, let's send a shout out to Trey Mortimer, who gave me the music to play in the background. He's going to be playing at North Coast Festival in Chicago coming up the weekend of, it's Labor Day weekend. I don't even like to say Labor Day weekend. Remember when we were kids and we had to go back to school and we were like, Labor Day weekend, like that sucks, right? And we were bummed about it, right? And then the people that weren't, they're running the world right now because they're super smart and they're taking over things, right? So, all right. I see everybody's getting on here. I see some more YouTube viewers. Thank you so much too. And on that note, let's begin the show. Welcome to this episode of Live Beyond Default LiveStream, episode number 27. My name is Dave. I'm your host. I'm flying solo today. And today's topic is going to be KPIs, key performance indicators. We have them in our business life. We have them in our personal life. What are they? Why are we even using them? And I'm going to say that this topic is tough for me to even talk about because I totally resist KPIs, right? Like, I'm the guy that just wants to free flow and do things, and a lot of times do things that feel good. And I know that that does not serve me. It doesn't serve me to do that. We've got to have the KPIs. We've got to have the KPIs to keep us on track towards our goals and what we want to do in life. All right. So you guys let me know if it doesn't sound good or if I need to turn up, right? I appreciate that. Ritesh says, good morning. We are all vibing. LinkedIn user says, DJ Dave in the house. Yeah, Matt East. Good morning, Dave. Way to bring it and start the day. Thanks, brother. Coffee cups up, feeling good. This is Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate you saying your name because sometimes the users don't show up. Jackie, good morning. Today is my Friday, so this is an awesome way to end the week and kick off the weekend. And Jackie, I know you got the kids' birthdays coming up this weekend, so we'll talk more about that. Anya, good morning. You know what I love about Anya? I met Anya like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she was present. She listened and asked questions of curiosity, and she didn't have an agenda, even though she's in the same industry that I'm in. She's in a title company and I'm in real estate, but she wasn't like pushing her business on me. She wasn't spewing the sales breath, right? She didn't smell like sales perfume or sales cologne. She just showed up present and asking questions. And she's got a great smile too. So Anya, thanks for showing up. Yeah, LinkedIn user goals. That's what we're talking about today. Keep KPIs. So how was your last week? In fact, I'm going to ask you, has your week been epic so far? And if not, now's the time. Now is the time when we all are going to take responsibility for our thoughts, our actions, our energy, and we're going to raise the level, right? We're going to be epic the rest of the week versus getting into that victim mode, which we all do at times, because everything that we have in life today, everything that we have is a culmination of the decisions and the choices and the behaviors and the actions that we took. So we take responsibility for where we are. We are not victims. We do not point fingers and blame the economy, the gas prices, the president, the Bitcoin, the whatever else, right? There's nothing else to blame, and we're not going to even blame ourselves. And that's what part of the reason why we're talking about KPIs. So hope everybody had a awesome weekend or week. So this last week, I decided to get back into working out regularly, and that comes along with the KPIs too. I was with Brandon Cork and Nate Rubin. Brandon Cork was on the show last week. Love you, brother. He was on the show last week, and what we did was I got together with Nate and Brandon, and we decided to work out. And I was really, really grateful that they all brought me into this because they know I was struggling to get out there and work out on a regular basis. So what I committed to doing and what I have been doing is 3 days on and 1 day off, 3 days on and 1 day off. And it gives me a rest day and I don't get too burned out. So what have I been doing? Well, I've been going to the gym, right? Lifting weights, resistance. What else have I been doing? I've been going to yoga. Core Power Yoga in downtown Arlington Heights is super badass and it's hard as F. So I feel really good, kind of like the shirt saying, right? Feeling good with my club soda and my bulletproof coffee. And we all know what's in the bulletproof coffee, right? What kind of pepper is that in the bulletproof coffee? Put it in the comments. So I've been feeling really good. And I'd love for you to share in the comments what you've been doing to raise your vibration, to raise your level of energy, to raise the way you're showing up for your clients, your friends, your family, your kids, right? The kids, showing up for the kids. Yeah. Good morning, champ, says Mohammed. Thank you so much for showing up. I'm glad I met you too, Anya. So yeah, I've been working out this last week. And, you know, we've talked a lot on the show about network equity and who you surround yourself with. And that's really who you become. If you look at the 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 people that you regularly surround yourself with, you will recognize that you look, talk, dress, act, make the same amount of money, right? You all kind of like we're all in that like same, we get to be that tribal mentality. It's almost like if you've went into a clock shop and you notice they're all ticking the same. Are there still clock shops even around? It even sounds weird to say, right? Like a clock shop. But when you think about it, it's like all the clocks tend to tick, right, at the same period. I will even say that women that are close friends and that hang out on a regular basis sometimes will end up having their menstrual cycle and their periods align with each other. Huh? Isn't that interesting, right? So we are who we surround ourselves with, and we become that. So recently, this past weekend, I was grabbing some coffee outside. Stephanie puts in their Kanye pepper. Yes, that is the Kanye pepper in my bulletproof coffee. Thank you. I got dark matter in here too, a roaster from Chicago. But I was having coffee, and brother Nate sends me a text saying, "Hey, I want you to meet this guy. Meet with him sometime." Well, so I responded and said, "Okay, we'll meet up sometime." Have no idea what it was about, but I trust that Nate's going to introduce me to somebody who I will be able to add value to, or they'll add value to me, or we'll be able to co-create abundance together. So what happened? I said, "Yeah, man, we can meet sometime this week or over the weekend." And I said, "Where do you live?" And he said, "Park Ridge." And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm in Park Ridge right now." Isn't that funny? So he came over like an hour later. I was having lunch, and I tried this new a new restaurant in Des Plaines, Illinois. And he sat down with me. And not only is he becoming a client, or he is a client now, I'm finding a home for him and his family, but he's a super badass entrepreneur. And he's like half my age. And you know what? I love surrounding myself with those types of people, right? Keeps me young. It keeps me fit. It keeps me vibrant. It keeps my mind sharp, right? It keeps me thinking about how may I add value to the world? I wonder what I'm going to do today that is going to train me and prep me to be in an industry that has not yet even been created. I love that idea of being a part of an industry that's not yet being created, right? So thank you all for joining me on the show. This is Live Beyond Default Livestream, episode number 27. And next week we have Erin Ater. Why did I not ask her how to pronounce her last name? But she is super cool. So we're going to be discussing living a life of design and intentionally creating greater joy through small actions. So I'm really excited to have Erin on next week. So Gail, thank you for joining us. Been wanting to learn more about KPIs. Very excited about this, she says. Okay, well, KPIs, right? This is not my favorite subject. And I resisted KPIs, right, for many years of my life. And I recognize that they are super important. So KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator, right? And what they are is they're the indicator of progress towards an intended result. Okay. So we have a goal, or we have a result that we want. It could be I'm going to go with the simple ones, right? It could be to earn a certain amount of money. It could be to manifest and get a certain partner in your life. It could be to be a certain height or weight, or get a certain time that you're going to beat at an Ironman. It could be a sales goal. It could be a hiring goal for your business, right? It could be an expense to income ratio on your balance sheet. Whatever the goal is, there are KPIs, key performance indicators, that show progress towards that intended result. So, of course, share any KPIs that you've been working on or that you've actually been tracking, because that's the thing, is tracking these key performance indicators is what's really gonna do it for you. So let's just say again, let's take the weight thing, right? Like that's a really easy one, but something about losing weight, a leading KPI, key performance indicator to losing weight, may be hitting or not going above 1,700 calories. I'm just picking a number, right? 1,700 calories. Um, for your sales goal, it could be, well, I want to make 300K this year. And to do that, we're going to back out how many calls you would need to make in prospecting, how many face to face meetings you'd have based on what the conversion rate is of those. So you would put down in what I would call a KPI tracker. Oh, and by the way, if you're looking for a KPI tracker, I have one. It's super simple. It's really easy to use. And just DM me in LinkedIn or email me, dave@davelosavio.com, and I will gladly send this to you. It's free to use. I just got it online somewhere, and it's really easy. So key performance indicators are what keeps us on track, right? And I like to say that what's interesting about this is, as much as I resist KPIs, right? Um, Somebody once shared with me that it's the structure that fosters the creativity, because without that structure, we're just going to blow out, right? We're not going to get things done. It actually allows us more creative time if we're following that structure. So, good morning, Marshall Pierce. Oh, yeah, I am fired up, brother. I am fired up this week. That's right. Matthew E says, great examples. LinkedIn user says, good morning, sir. Oh, it's Brandon. Good plan. Work the numbers in reverse to get those goals. And Brandon Cork, who was on last week, thanks, brother. He has KPIs, not only for himself, but he has them for his team at the office, because he runs a team. He's managing a team, right? So I'll give an example of a KPI in my personal life. KPI in my personal life is drinking 100 ounces of water a day, right? Now, that's just right down to the bare KPI, drinking 100 ounces of water a day. Well, how do I track that? For that one, I use an app called Waterlog, right? Now let's look at the bigger picture now, because why am I drinking all this water? Do I want to pee all day? Do I want to feel like I'm waterlogged and just feel full? No, there's a reason why. Number one, I want to stay hydrated. Number two, I want to flush my system. And number three, I want to build small edge habits like drinking a certain amount of water a day, and it gets me into that habit mode. Habits are a muscle, right? You're building habits by building the muscles. And like going to the gym, when you get out of your comfort zone, your body will adapt. When you do something different, your body will adapt and it'll respond. So I'm drinking 100 ounces of water a day. What's happening? I'm staying more hydrated, and I'm also fostering and building the habit muscle. Well, me staying more hydrated, what does that do? That contributes to my health. It contributes to my overall well-being. It contributes to me being more present when I'm in front of others. And then what does that do? Well, that allows me to show up for my real estate clients and my coaching clients and my family and my friends and really share my gifts with the world and be a leader, seeing them better than they see themselves and leading by example. That's all down to just drinking 100 ounces of water a day, which is a little KPI for me. And it's one of the KPIs in my health regimen. What's the next one? Well, I just shared that with you earlier. It's 3 days on and 1 day off of working out. 3 days on and 1 day off of working out. That is another KPI that I am tracking. So Stephanie has a good point in here. I like this one. And yeah, you bring up a couple good points. Inspiration and creativity is the effect and not the cause. We have to create the space and commit to the time to work towards whatever KPIs, even when we're not feeling inspired and creative, because it's in that space that the flashes and waves of inspirations actually come. And that is a big, big point, Stephanie. Now, I just took some notes this morning on during a podcast I was listening to. It's called Better Than Rich. Andrew Biggs, my brother Biggs, runs that podcast. Check it out. Better Than Rich. I think you'll love it. And what they said this morning, which I thought was really cool, was it's not feeling our way into acting, but it's acting our way into feeling. And that's a lot of what Stephanie just said right there. It's not feeling our way into acting, but acting our way into feeling. So, how many of us don't feel like making sales calls or prospecting calls? How many of us don't feel like going to the gym? How many of us don't feel like meal prepping, veggies and good carbs and good sources of protein, right? I don't. You think I feel like getting up at 5 a.m. during the week so I can do my Wim Hof breathing exercises and my meditation and who knows what else I'm doing? No, I don't feel like doing it. But, pardon me, and I am doing it. Why am I doing it? Because what Stephanie said here, inspiration and creativity is the effect and not the cause. We have to create the space and commit the time to work towards whatever KPIs when we're not feeling inspired and creative, because then the waves of inspiration actually come. We're not feeling our way into acting. We're acting our way into feeling, right? Motion creates emotion. What am I doing in the middle, in the beginning of this live stream? I'm dancing, right? I'm putting on house music, right? Some call this dancing, other call it just freaking out on life, whatever it is, right? Motion creates emotion. Tony Robbins, T-Bone, the OG, right? He talks about it all the time. Motion creates emotion. You don't feel like making a sales call? Get the fuck up and start walking around, right? Walk around, do some squats, right? How hard is it to sit here and do 20 squats, right? Do some stretches, go down and do some push-ups. Like, get the blood flowing, get the calls going, right? Get the blood flowing, get the calls going. That's kind of a cool rhyme too. So, a lot of times we don't feel like doing things, right? And that's why it's important, again, to have our key performance indicators actually laid out, because then we don't really think about, we don't have to think about what we're going to do. It's more, we just take the action that we know is going to produce the desired results, right? And of course, you got to take a break sometime. So if you're just joining us, this is Live Beyond Default Livestream, episode number 27, talking about key performance indicators. Perhaps you're on the treadmill. Perhaps you're driving and listening to this. Perhaps you're just watching this recording in the background while you're doing dishes or something else around the home. And I want to say thank you very much. And of course, share if you like the show. So what's another key performance indicator? I'd love to hear some people sharing. Share if it's in your personal or if it's in your business. And of course, what the KPI is that you've been focusing on this year. So if anybody knows Patrick, right? Patrick is Panayatov. He is a badass. We call Patrick the king of KPIs, right? And there's a reason that we call him the king of KPIs because he is the king of them and he inspires us all, right? He's a partner in Proceed Innovative. He's a total badass. He's focused and he stays and sticks to his daily habits. So, a couple of his KPIs that he shared with me recently, I met with him on Monday night, was he's reading 52 books this year. Now, that's a lot of books. That's a book a week, right? I usually say like 10 pages a day is 300 pages a month equals 12 books for the whole year, right? And if you're reading 12 books the whole year, you're reading more books in 1 year than most people read their whole life after they get out of college. More books. Amazing. But Patrick, he's a little out of control, right? And that's what I love about him. He's a badass and he inspires me. It's who you surround yourself with that inspires you. So Patrick is reading 52 books this year. He's reading a book a week. And the funny thing is, he's learning a lot and he's going places. And that's his jam. And he loves it. Another one is working out 175 times. So 360 days a year. So yeah, that's about every other day for the year is how many times he's working out. Now, Patrick is in great shape. So that's a KPI of his. How many books is he reading? How many times is he working out? So we've got two comments here that are saying waking up the same time each day and waking up at the same time each day. Thank you. Now, that is a simple personal habit that has a massive effect. Massive effect. I challenge everyone. If you just tune into your sleep patterns, that little habit alone, it'll revolutionize the way that you show up. It'll revolutionize your life, right? We have those times where we go in phases, right? We just started a business. We have some extra sales calls or extra prospecting calls to make at the company we work for. We're doing a build out, whatever it is. And sometimes we miss out on sleep, right? I get it. But difference between an isolated incident and a pattern, because once it becomes a pattern, it starts to affect us. So 2 people on here said about waking up at the same time. And that consistent habit has such an effect on not only the regeneration of your mind and not only the regeneration of your body and your soul and your presence throughout the day and your cognitive thinking, right? We're already derping around a lot, scrolling, eating fast food in the drive-thru, right? When you sleep consistently and well, you make better decisions. And when you make better decisions, you're sharing your gifts with the world, right? When you're sticking to your KPIs, you'll stick to your KPIs when you wake up at the same time each day. So simple, right? Easy to do, easy not to do. So I think that's a big one. Check out Matthew Walker. He is a sleep expert. Matthew Walker. You could check out, he did a podcast with Joe Rogan. He's all over the place, but you will really learn a lot about sleep and why we sleep and how you can optimize your sleep. But one of those ways to do it is to wake up at the same time each day. So thank you for sharing that. And anybody else share in the comments about one of the KPIs that they're doing or one of the KPIs that they want to implement. So for me, here's a KPI that I'm committed to, and haven't been doing that well with it. I've been doing good, but there's an opportunity cost, right? I'm not about good. I'm about beyond default, right? Not being in the comfort zone. I'm about living a life of design versus accepting a life of neglect. I want to make 8-year-old Dave and 80-year-old Dave proud. And I challenge you to do the same. So we have incoming leads in real estate. Most of my clients that I work with in real estate are from my sphere of influence or people that I've known for many years or a few years. They trust me. And when they're ready to buy or sell, they come to me because I'm top of mind. And it's super cool. And I'm really grateful for that. There's another pillar of my business, which is incoming leads through Google. And what we do on that is we know that for every 100 that come through, it's really only a 3 to 5% conversion rate, which is not very high. So you got to make the calls, right? You got to make the calls. When the leads come in, you've got to pick up the phone or hit the dialer and make the call and listen and ask questions and see where they're coming from, right? So a KPI is making a certain amount of prospecting calls every single day, because I know when I do that, I will build more wealth, long-term creation, and of course, ultimately serve the real estate market to the highest level, which I am super grateful to be in. Let's talk about something on the bigger vision for KPIs. Now, I know Gail said she wanted to learn more about KPIs. If you're still on, Gail, share a little bit more about what your thoughts are, or maybe if you're struggling a little bit with a KPI. So something that's with the bigger vision of KPIs is really showing up and sharing your gifts with the world. And what I mean by that is somebody or something created us. I don't know what it is or what it was. And you all can decide what you're thinking about, right? It could be God. It could be universal intelligence, right? It could be whatever it is. We're not here to argue about that, right? It's all good. Don't worry. If we have differentiating opinions, we don't cancel each other here either, okay? So think about whatever created us and the gift of life that we've been given. We are created to expand. We are created and we are wired to grow. We are wired to create. We are wired to be at a higher level of consciousness. And I'm going to challenge, and something that I challenge myself with, and I'm going to challenge everybody else, that we owe it like rent to our creator, who or whatever that was. We owe it like rent to show up every single day and to be the best that we can. And if we're not feeling good that day, or we're sick, let's say, or it's just an off day, it happens sometimes, then maybe your best is more like down here, right? Maybe your best is more down here, but that's okay, because you're doing the best you can with what you have at this time and always. And that is super, super key to remember. So when I wake up every day, I say, what do I get to do versus what do I have to do? I say to myself, what are the opportunities for me to grow and show up for my clients, my crew, my family, right? Team human in general. It could just be opening up the door for somebody or saying hello while I'm on my way to my car in the parking garage. Like, how hard is it to say hello? So I truly feel that we owe it to our creator to show up every day and expand and add value to others and team human. Love that, team human. So what do KPIs do? Well, KPIs, it's part of that big vision is the way that I look at it. I don't look at it as these things I have to do. I look at it as these opportunities and these behaviors and these actions that I get to do, right? To be my best self. So Gail says, I think I'm struggling a bit with understanding the science behind it rather than implementing the actual tasks, although I could use some strategic help in that area as well. Well, that is another good question. And I'll jam on it a little bit here. And I will challenge you to DM me about that a little bit because I have some bigger ideas for you about that I think would help. But struggling a bit with understanding the science behind it. Like sometimes, Gail, I overcomplicate things and I want to understand why on everything. And that's okay because we're curious. We're curious beings, and that's what we do. At the same time, all of this has been written, all of this has been done. People are doing it and it works. So sometimes there's that little bit of faith and that little bit of trust that it's gonna work. And I've seen other people do it, and we can get to where we want to be or have a goal and get to it faster because we're implementing KPIs that others have already done. So I don't know if that answers your question in regards to the science of it. And some strategic help. Yep, DM me and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. But that's a great question. And thanks for sharing that. All the questions are good. We want to be curious, having a curiosity mindset about life, having a beginner's mindset like when we were kids. That is such a gift. And recognizing that no question is stupid. It's kind of lame when we're not asking questions. And especially if we don't know something and we're not asking questions. So, good question, Gail. Yeah. Patrick, the king of KPIs with the 52 books and the working out 175 times. I got to commend him for that because I'm always inspired by those, especially younger than me, who have committed to practices, even something like an emergency fund, right? I find that an emergency fund is so important to have because life happens, things come up, right? The economy tanks. Maybe you lose your job. Maybe you're on 100% commission, which I've been most of my life. And you recognize that there's going to be ebbs and flows in how income is produced and comes in. Well, I find that a big financial practice and a simple one and a foundational one, right? Jim Rohn, all about the foundations. Love me some Jim Rohn. He says that always stick to the fundamentals and there's nothing new. So think about saving and creating a emergency fund or just in case fund for you and your family. Like a KPI for that is, let's come up with a number for an emergency fund. Let's come up with 20K, right? You want to have 20K liquid cash sitting there in case something happens and you need to live off of it for 3 months or 4 months or 5 months or 6 months, whatever your monthly expenses are. So what that might be is putting away $100 every single week or $200 every week or $500 every week, whatever it is, that is your KPI. And when you're focused on that little thing, right? Easy to do, but easy not to do. That's the challenge with these, right? It's progress towards the intended result. And what is the intended result? The intended result is to have an emergency fund. Well, why do you want an emergency fund? Because things happen in life. And it kind of sucks when you can't pay for things, when life happens and you can't pay for it. And It keeps you out of debt. It keeps you coming from an abundance mindset, right? It shows that you are a leader and financially abundant and creative to your family. Whether you are a woman or a man or whomever, doesn't matter who the breadwinner is and who's bringing in more money, it's showing that you have financial responsibility. And of course, when you have physical responsibility, mental responsibility, financial responsibility, the funny thing is the universe, when you do the work, it gives you more and more and more. But you got to make the calls. You got to put that money away. We got to do that meal prep and get to the gym. We got to sleep better. All these little things. And I'm not telling you what to do. I'm sharing with you what's worked for me and what's worked for others. And of course, you got to decide what works best for you. There is no judgment on this show. We are collaborating. We are creating. We are part of a community that has decided to live beyond default. And that's creating a life of design versus accepting a life of neglect. And when I'm 80 years old or 90 or 100 and 110, and I look back, I'm going to be proud. I'm going to be mostly proud of the decisions that I made. Instead of going for instant gratification, I went for long-term happiness. Instead of derping all day and scrolling on TikTok and Facebook and watching other people live their life as opposed to being the director of my own life, right? And these challenges aren't easy, especially now in this digital world. We're getting fired at. Our attention is there's so much marketing money going into taking our attention. It really, really, really think about that. Be an example for your kids. Be an example for your spouse. Be an example as a team leader. And it doesn't matter if you're drying off cars at the Delta Sonic, or you're sweeping at the school, or you're a bus driver, or you're a CEO. Be the example for everybody around you, because you never know the situation that somebody else is in. People are struggling. A lot of people are struggling. And we want to be compassionate. We want to be empathetic. And we want to listen to understand versus listen to respond. On that note, I think it's time for me to go, right? It's been about 45 minutes. And I know a lot of us are at work. I've got some calls to make. I've got a listing appointment to turn in, right? And I just want to say that I'm super, super grateful that you all joined me, even if it was for 5 or 10 minutes. And all the shares and all the comments and everyone that's been collaborating with me on social media, I am so grateful for that. And I'm really grateful for everyone to see the progress that you've made in 2022. We're in the roaring 20s. I'm so grateful to see that we're sharing all the progress, and we're recognizing that sometimes things don't go so bad or go so well. And we don't want to, as I say, throw sprinkles on a shit show either, right? We understand when things don't go right. So on that note, yeah, let's end with a little bit of music and a little bit of dancing. Until next time, my friends, I love you. Make it a great week. And thanks for being a part of the show. Thanks for showing up for Team Human. Do your best out there. I know that I am. And when I don't feel like it, I'm going to be thinking about you all. And I'm going to be remembering the show and what's next to do. Make it a great weekend, my friends. Keep hydrated. Keep exercising. See you again next week. Thank you.